Hello and welcome to Mrs. M. Yeah, I'm back in the woman shed again. I'm doing some more videos. I get peace out here, as if you've watched my previous video, you'll understand I get a bit of peace out of my woman shed here. You might hear the odd dog, my dog even in particular, and maybe some kids in the background in the neighbour's garden. But hey ho, we'll crack on. Today's message is about symptoms of the menopause. Oh yeah, it's a glorious time, ladies. And there's a lot of people who ask me, how do I know if I'm in the menopause? Well, good question. Because there seems to be sort of three phases. You can have the perimenopausal, which is roughly around about 4 to 5 years before the menopause. Then you have the menopause, and then you have postmenopause. So being in menopause actually means that you've not had a period for a whole year. So that's what really technically defines being in menopause. But as I said, there's sort of three stages. And it was only when I sort of got a couple of the symptoms of the perimenopausal state that I began to think, my goodness, I'd never really even heard of perimenopause up until just recently, until I've been really looking into it. And I thought, well, why is that? And I think it is because, I don't know why, but society seems to think that, we shouldn't talk about the menopause, that, I don't know, it's something, and I hear it from ladies. Oh, I'm menopausal. So what? Say it, for goodness sake. There's nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about. It is you, it's your body, it's natural, it's something we go through, and I think the more we talk about it, I think the more people will begin to understand, what it's like to go through it, and maybe have a little bit more understanding, because it can be a tricky time for many, many ladies. And this is another thing. I've been helping women over the past few years, and it's more on a one-to-one basis. So, within my groups and one thing or another, I have ladies who say, well, about a lot of health stuff, about a lot of food stuff, about what you should do, I need some help. And then this is where Mrs. M sort of came from, because I thought, you know what, I need to be able to help more women as much as I can, be there for them and try and explain things and be a support network. So, it's not all about the menopause, Mrs. M. It's multifaceted, it's got lots of different angles. So there's lots of different things that we need to look at. And, so you've got three different stages. But the list of menopause symptoms, my goodness, can it go on? Can it go on? Oh, do you want the list? Here we go. Hold tight. Hot flushes. That's sort of a given one with many women. Insomnia, sleeplessness. PMS, joint and muscle aches, irregular periods, night sweats, dry skin, bloating, weight gain, fatigue, tearfulness, brain fog, memory lapses, anxiety, mood swings, low mood and depression, racing heart, headaches, bladder control, and breast tenderness. My goodness, I surely hope that I don't get a full house, because that's some things to deal with, isn't it? And what I'm going to do over a period of time is, I'm busy writing at the moment and adding them as I go along, but I will be doing more videos on each one of these subjects to try and help you. But mine really came from not being able to sleep at night. I'd get to bed, and then at 3:11, it was almost 3:11 on the dot most nights, I'd wake up and I'd either want to go do a full food shop at Tesco's, go clean the house. I mean, it was bizarre. It's not normal. It's really not normal to be doing them things at 3:11 in the morning. So that was the first sort of thing where I thought, this could be a problem. And then, of course, there was the issue of feeling tired. I would get to the point, and mainly that's probably because I was up half the night, but that was, two of the things that really, really stuck out. And the other one was, I started to get a form of brain fog. And again, it's another issue that we just tend to think, oh, we're getting older, and we don't forget things. We forget things more than what we did, years ago. So it was like these three things, and it sort of wasn't adding up. And, you know, so for me, you know, it was just trying to understand and try and help myself through the symptoms. So, you know, you've got all these things, and then you've got the post-menopause to look forward to, ladies. Well, what are those symptoms? What if you've come through the menopause and then you think, well, hang on a minute, what's to come for me now? Well, there's a joy, no periods, hey, yeah. But you do get, I'm afraid, a bit of unwanted hair growth. You could get prolapse, hair thinning, osteoporosis, and skin issues, the wrinkling, itching. That can all be due to a lack of collagen. You know, so there's lots of reasons and lots of things as to maybe why you're feeling the way you are at the minute. And it might be due to you being in perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause, or it may be something completely different. So if you're getting any of these symptoms, I would suggest that you go and see your GP or your nurse or somebody and see if you can really pinpoint it down, and see if this is obviously what you're going through, because some of it is pretty darn horrible. I look at that list and I think, for goodness sake, you know. But you know, the reason why we have the menopause is because we no longer need that estrogen anymore. We're not generally in childbearing years. And so what the body does is, it sort of, where the estrogen is usually taken out, and that from, I believe, the ovaries, that's then starts to reduce, and hence the reason why we get all these other symptoms. But it can be a very tricky phase. And a lot of people here, I know I wrote on my blog here, you know, a lot of people say, you know, how long do the symptoms last? How long is a piece of string? Because you can be in perimenopause for quite some years, or not, and then you can go through the menopause, and then you've got the postmenopause. So it's a long time to just sit there and suffer, you know. And don't think you're on your own with symptoms either. There's around 70% of women who will get symptoms, so you're not on your own. And you should always ask for help. You should always ask for help if you think you need it. You know, so how can you help yourself? How can you really help yourself during the menopause? Well, there's lots of ways. And with each type of symptom, I've noticed that certain things that you can do to try and help yourself. Diet is massive. I am not going to underestimate the power of diet. And even if you're not menopausal, if you're eating junk, if you're drinking too much alcohol, if you are even drinking too much fizzy stuff, if you are smoking, if you're doing no exercise, you are not going to be healthy. That's just put bluntly, but it's the truth. It is absolutely the truth. So, you know, you need to try and keep, you know, all those bad things to a minimum. Try and look after yourself with your diet and what you do and exercise. You know, try and also keep stress to a minimum. Yeah, next joke, because that's easier said than done. And taking time and care for yourself. Self-care is so important, and that is another angle that I want to really, really look at. Self-care with women during their midlife. It is just so important. The other thing to remember about the menopause, ladies, it doesn't last forever. It will go eventually and everything will settle down. But it's all about that transition phase. And, you know, I know that even sort of a friend of mine, she's going through a real torrid time at the moment. And, you know, she is constantly blaming herself for forgetting things. She's letting her anxiety go rocket through the roof. You know, and I have to keep reminding her, this is only your hormones. This is not a change in you that's a bad change. It's just happening. And so you have to understand it's just a phase. There's nothing wrong with you as such. Yeah, you may be getting symptoms, but it doesn't mean that you are going to be a changed person forever. You just may be going through some tough times with it, and, you know, a bit more support maybe from those around you, a few more hugs, a bit more understanding, and I think, you know, you'll get through. But if you're not, as I've said, you make sure you jolly well get yourselves to your GP or to your nurse and speak about it. They can do all sorts of things. I'm led to believe they can do hormone tests and all sorts. So please don't suffer in silence. There's lots out there for you to do. There's lots to try. from each angle that I'm going to talk about. I've got some tips, and some of these are from my own personal experience, but the majority are from women who I know who've gone through it and found that that's their coping mechanism. And so it's like me passing it on to you. Do you get me? I hope you do. So cut yourself some slack. Cut yourself some slack. If you're going through it, you know, it's not the end of the world. This isn't where women now drop off the earth. You know, you have got a lot of value in life. There's a lot of value to you, and it's just a phase. And the phase, yeah, it may be pretty grotty at times, but let's get you through it, and let's go through it with a smile and with some positivity. I'm totally a believer in being positive in everything that you do. So that's just a brief synopsis on the symptoms of menopause. Go to my blog, www.mrs-m.co.uk, and you'll see I've written all that out. So if you missed all the symptoms or everything, they're all listed there. Everything's listed there. Or you can even listen to it again on my podcast or watch again. You know, that's the beauty of doing these videos, that if you've missed something, you can go back and you can reaffirm and you can check. So until next time, be blessed. Know you're loved, definitely loved by me anyway, and thank you to all of you who've been sending messages as well. It's not gone unnoticed. I do try and respond to everybody that I possibly can, and also I've taken some of your comments as well and some of your helpful tips and amalgamated them, because I totally believe that sharing is caring. So thank you very much for all those who've got in touch, but you can subscribe to the blog as well, by the way. Mustn't keep forgetting about that. You can subscribe to the blog, so that means that every time there's a new post, you'll be the first to hear about it, which I think is a great thing in your inbox. So why not take a look? Why not subscribe? Come to Mrs. M World. Anyway, until next time.